Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the incredible life of Wallace Wallo 267 Peoples. It's a story of transformation so extreme, it'll make you question everything you think you know about second chances.
Okay, just look at this. It's like we're talking about two completely different people, right? In one column, a man who spent 2 decades of his life behind bars for a violent crime. In the other, a celebrated cultural changemaker and best-selling author. But here's the kicker. This isn't two different men. It's 2 chapters of the exact same life.
So this just begs the question, a question we're going to answer in this explainer. How does this happen? I mean, how on earth do you go from that to this?
To really get it, we've got to go back, way back. Before we can understand the rise, we have to understand the fall. And for Wallo, that started early, in the tough streets of North Philadelphia, where he was on a fast track to becoming just another statistic.
And when I say his entanglement with the justice system started young, I mean incredibly young. A criminal conviction at just 10 years old, and arrest at 11. And by 17, he was handed a sentence that would basically eat up his entire youth. And if you want to see how deep that cycle ran, get this. At one point, he was literally sharing a prison cell with his own father.
So instead of getting any kind of support, the system pretty much sealed his fate. The very authority figures who were supposed to help him, school psychologists, counselors, they just slapped a label on him. Criminal-minded. Can you imagine? When people in power tell you that's what you are, it makes it pretty hard to imagine being anything else.
But here's where the story takes a hard right turn. Those 20 years he spent in prison, they weren't just lost time. They became his university. His cell turned into a command center where he literally planned his entire comeback.
So the first move, the most crucial one, was all in his head. Wallo made a very conscious choice to completely reject the idea of being a victim. He took full accountability for his actions because he knew that was the only way any real change could ever begin. And from that mindset shift, he built a system. He had this notebook, and he called it the Book of Life. It became his detailed blueprint. He talked to new inmates, basically picking their brains about what was going on in the outside world, and he wrote down everything. Business ideas, goals, you name it. He was planning his every move. Now, this is what's really fascinating. He watched thousands and thousands of commercials on TV and taught himself the basics of marketing. And he had this huge aha moment. Everything is marketed to us. The clothes we wear, the ideas we believe, it's all about persuasion. He was cracking the code of how the world really works, all from inside a prison cell.
So when he was finally released in February 2017, he didn't waste a second. He immediately started putting that super detailed, years-in-the-making plan into motion. The theory was about to get a real-world test.
And the result? It was absolutely explosive. On his very first day out, his motivational content just went viral. He got 60,000 Instagram followers. This wasn't just some lucky break. This was proof that all those years he spent studying how to connect with people, well, they were about to pay off big time. And that was just the beginning. This was no fluke. It was the direct result of a strategy built on pure authenticity and all that studying he did. And that led to the massive, super engaged following he has today. He was so smart about it too, he mixed that old school street hustle, literally selling t-shirts by hand in Philly, with this incredible digital savvy. That's how he went from being a local voice to a national media powerhouse, co-hosting one of the biggest podcasts in the entire world. But you gotta understand, Wallo's comeback was never just about personal success. From the very beginning, his plan was to take all that influence and point it towards something bigger, a mission he calls being armed with good intentions. He basically took the exact same intensity, the same drive, the same hustle that once led him down a really destructive path, and he just channeled it into building a positive empire. See, the energy is the same, he just completely changed its direction. So today, he uses all of these platforms to push for real, systemic change. And it is not just talk. As the Chief Marketing Officer of the Reform Alliance, he is on the front lines, fighting to transform the same probation and parole system that once had complete control over his life. And this is the crucial part. Even with all his success, his own journey inside the system isn't over. Wallo is still on parole until the year 2048. Let that sink in for a second. That's not just some random fact. It is the fuel for his fight. He is living the very reality he's trying so hard to change for others.
Ultimately, his entire story is just this powerful testament to that one idea, that our drive, our core energy, our ambition, it can be used to build or to destroy. And as Wallo proves, the choice isn't in changing the energy, but in choosing the direction.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought, right? If Wallo's journey proves that the energy we have doesn't need to change, but its direction does, what about you? What's one thing in your life that's just waiting for a change in direction?